When thinking of Cape Town, you might imagine white sand beaches, wine estates, and the imposing Table Mountain. Picture perfect, isn't it? But this beautiful city is one of the most dangerous in the world, and it has the highest murder rate in South Africa. Now, since January, more than 2,000 people have been murdered. Most murders and other types of violent crime are linked to gang activity in the Cape Flats. The flats, as they are called locally, are an area of densely packed townships on the outskirts of Cape Town. We're about to meet one man from the Cape Flats who's turned away from gangsterism and hoping to forge a new life for himself.
For Thabiso Lande, gardening has recently become a calling. He is making money and feels good and safe while doing it. That's something he can't say about his previous life as a gang member. It cost him 6 months in prison and almost his life.
I got shot in the face, through my nose, through my head, and I got shot 6 times on my spinal cord. But God willingly, I survived, but my mother died. And if you want to ask me about crime, now, that is me, for example, an example of what crime is and what crime does, to people. So crime is very rife here, and it's due to unemployment.
The project Violence Prevention Through Urban Upgrading in the Khayelitsha township hopes to offer an alternative to people like Lande. It's partly financed by German development funds.
The garden is not only a source of food and income for the gardeners. The vegetables are also cooked in the kitchen over there and then served to the kids in the kindergarten next door.
Offering childcare, leisure activities, internet access, electricity and water, the center has become an important meeting point for residents. The murder rate in this part of the township has fallen in recent years. Those involved in the project say it's reducing violence in the neighborhood.
It prevents it a lot because if you look around the area just where we are, the active box, it's very active. There's mothers, there's gardeners active, there's children. So just the visibility of people. We've got an approach called safety through activation. So it's not really having policing and soldiers walking around, but the presence of communities enable everybody to walk across without feeling scared.
In many of Cape Town's townships, that's not possible. Since July, the military has been patrolling the so-called Cape Flats, which Khayelitsha is part of. For years, police and government have struggled to get drug trafficking and gang violence under control. Experts doubt that military intervention can change that.
No, definitely not. It's not a long-term strategy. It's not a. This is a response. It's like having an ambulance to pick up a patient. It doesn't. It's a response to something terrible that's happened, but it's not a solution to those things happening again. What the military intervention can do potentially is to create a safe space temporarily, where other effective strategies can be put in place. It provides an opportunity and a window for things to happen that are potentially going to be effective and sustainable in the long run.
Thabiso Lande is also hoping for more long-term investment. He wants to show us his house in Khayelitsha, more precisely his small private garden. He'd like to earn more money with agriculture, but there's no space. The township is growing daily.
People need places to stay. People took everything out, all the vegetation, unfortunately, and they built houses.
Lande wants to continue anyway, and he wants to show his son how to garden, so he doesn't end up getting involved with gangs like his father.
The Johannesburg inner city has been rocked by 2 weeks of violence. Angry mobs looting and destroying anything in their path, with foreign-owned businesses bearing the brunt of their anger.
There is nothing that has sparked any form of this conflict between South Africans and the foreign nationals. So we're dealing with criminality rather than xenophobia at the present moment.
Whatever it is, the effect has been devastating on Maboneng, an inner-city hub for tourism, culture, cuisine and entrepreneurship.
This is what the damage looks like. And there was a big crowd of people just throwing stones, bricks.
Businesses have seen a significant drop in visitors since the unrest began, putting serious pressure on the hospitality and tourism sectors, which rely on the city's estimated 5 million annual visitors.
How are we going to sustain these two industries through the chaos? That always worries me, that always stresses me out.
Police have increased their numbers on the ground, conducting raids and patrols across Johannesburg.
We want to make sure that what happened last time, where people were looting shops, it doesn't happen again, or it doesn't spread to other areas. We will be remaining in all the hotspots or in all the areas that were affected until we are sure that everything is back to normal.
Analysts argue the damage is already done.
This city is the most unequal in the world, and it took a long time to begin to get people in the middle class to go and, say, eat on sidewalks at restaurants and go out in the town. And this definitely is a psychological barrier to continuing the reintegration of class and race in our awfully divided cities. It's a tragedy.
And it's not only restaurants, hostels, bars and hotels feeling the pinch. Inner city commerce is taking a serious hit.
I just have this feeling they might come back. My customers are scared. They've been calling me. They cannot come and collect their stuff. Some of their stuff has been damaged. So Maboneng is never going to be the same again.
Although authorities claim the situation is slowly normalizing, the unrest has already cost 12 lives, and the city of gold remains on edge.